All right, guys. We are live. I'm going to wait a few moments just to make sure it comes across on the screen. So for you guys who can already hear me talking, what's going on? I see some of you people saying, hey, is it going to start at 8? Yes, we are a little bit late. A couple minutes, man. Y'all can bear with us on that. You know, Smitty's on vacation. But yeah, it looks like everything is rolling, so we'll go ahead and get it started. What we'll do really quick, man, we'll dive into, there's a lot that's going on since we've been on, and I'm glad, we kind of took a couple weeks off while the information is slow. I think we can probably get back into the groove of things now that, we got early news all of a sudden from Madden, and we'll be having it for the next few weeks. So you can pretty much guarantee another show each week, probably throughout May. I'm actually going to be away for a week in May, but I think I'll still be able to do that show on that Thursday that I'll be gone. It shouldn't be a problem there. But we'll let you guys know. But anyway, man, the first thing we'll talk about really quick, just to allow some people to get up in here, is let's talk about the draft really quick, Smitty. Just in and out. We'll talk about how we feel about what our teams did really quick, and then we'll dive directly into this Madden news. And again, guys, like I said, Smitty's on vacation. He's taking his time out of his precious vacation to talk to you guys. So, you may hear noise in the background, whatever. Listen, man, the man is on vacation. So you're just going to have to listen attentively and just be happy that he's available. But Smitty, what you got, man? How did you feel overall about what Detroit did as far as the draft?
Well, I mean, I'm definitely... The main thing that's disappointing to me is that let's just show the stream is offline. And I see all of y'all in the chat. Oh, never mind. Okay, I had to load up. All right. Sorry, using this hotel Wi-Fi, so, it all varies here. Okay, it's up. All right. So, now, I'm not fully disappointed. I mean, we did address needs, but I do hate that we spent our first pick on a tight end, especially after we just got done with an ordeal, even though that was Jim Caldwell's doing. But we just got done with the whole tight end situation, and now we got another tight end. Even though my man, he's a good tight end, I get it, but it's like I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I really don't know. I'm not too fond of who we brought in. But I can't even think of my man's name. I know it's TJ Hawkins something, but
Hawkinson. TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, Hawkinson. There it is. Yeah. So they talked about him like he's a good player. He's with sure hands, good blocking. We'll see what he does in at least a good 2-3 years, because usually tight ends, that's how it is in general. Like, you're not really going to see much from them until at least the third year, progressive-wise. They usually aren't, they're not like what wide receivers are. They don't just break out and start producing like that. So we'll see how things are in that regard. But, I mean, outside of that pick, all in all, I'm not disappointed with what we did in the draft, because at the end of the day, we always will need depth. So we got a little bit on the defensive side, we got some on the offensive side. So it was a pretty balanced draft. So that's pretty much it for me, though.
Yeah, man, and I'll keep it short and sweet because I see a lot of you guys are already commenting about Madden. I'll say this really quick. I was about to type it to Smitty's network. They're doing a gameplay blog / video on the 23rd. Guys, I wouldn't expect to see but so much. I'll say this real quick, then I'll get to the draft, but I just want to address this. We have to remember, we can't have selective memory, guys, and what I mean by that, okay? The last couple years, they haven't shown us nothing. I mean, I think last year they waited all the way until the very last moment, right? But before that, they used to show us these playbooks and things like that. But you got to remember, in May, they never really showed us a ton of gameplay. So I wouldn't expect to see a boatload of gameplay on May 23rd. That's even before EA play.
Yeah, they play. Yep.
So I would imagine they're going to show us little components, little, Smitty knows what I'm about to say. He knows exactly what I'm referring to. They're going to show us like a little DAC of the little video cut up that we usually see early in the year. This is how it's planning to work, blah, blah, blah. But don't expect to make a judgment on the gameplay or even see a lot in May. That's just coming from me and Smitty as being guys who's been through the process. We haven't been through the process for Madden 20, so we pretty much in the same, darkness, if you will, as you guys are. But I'll get to that here in just a moment, man. I definitely want to dedicate most of this time to the Madden stuff. As far as the draft, real quick, man, listen. My Steelers did something they normally don't do. They moved up in the draft to get their guy. Last time they did that was 2006 for Santonio Holmes, which was crazy. They went from 32 to 25, and they gave up a third and a fourth. And I know a lot of people at the time thought that was too much. This guy ends up catching the final touchdown in the Super Bowl. Was it too much? The time before that, Troy Polamalu, they went from 27 all the way up to 16. And we all know the career of Troy Polamalu. I don't even need to go further. So I'm just saying, I don't know if Devin Bush will be that, but I'm glad to see my Steelers didn't sit on their hands. I nowhere near that I believe the rumors that were circulating that they were trying to go up 10, into the top 10. I was like, no way. Steelers don't do that. They did it. Great. As far as the rest of the picks, man, guys, I covered all this on the Steelers stuff and Terrible Towel. So I'm not going to bore you guys with that, for you guys who are not here for that. But basically, man, how I look at it, draft is just really potential. You're looking for potential players. That's what a draft is all about. I don't get into the whole, that was a bad pick, and we don't know that this early. We don't know that. Antonio Brown, again, 6th round pick. Tom Brady, 6th round pick. So I'm just, I guess Smitty, like I said on the Steelers show, I've just matured as a fan. I don't judge and say a pick was bad and this and that until after I see these guys produce, i.e. Artie Burns. I think it's safe to say Artie Burns didn't pan out. So that might not have been a great pick. I can say that now. I couldn't say that when they picked him. So there you have it. Overall, man, I'm glad to see what the Steelers did. I think they got some good players. And there you have it. And no, Ali, we can't do that tonight, man. This is not the Steeler podcast, so I don't want to do that tonight. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this Madden stuff, man. Smitty, man, I'll kick it off. I'll be brief, and what I mean by brief is I don't want to go too far because there's a lot of things that I want to ask questions about. I have them written down. I'll ask them to you, and we'll share it with the chat. But here's my overall thought. On paper, it's funny, it kind of reminds me of my Steelers in this regard. On paper, we would have thought the Steelers would have won a Super Bowl when they had Bell and Brown, and Ben, Martavis. That's kind of how I feel about what I'm seeing with the Madden stuff now. There's a lot of questions that still need to be asked, man. I put this on Twitter earlier, and I'll say it here as well, and we'll come back to it later in the show. I still want to know the core features. I know Smitty is going to address that as well, but what about scouting, free agency, just pure roster management? What about morale? I heard Mike Young say in that initial article that came out a week or so ago, something about player personality and morale. Now, discussing this with a few other community members, they said that they believe that probably will all be lumped into the scenario engine. Okay, great. But I want to know, how is this stuff going to be implemented? How does it affect the roster? They said a lot of little nuggets in this stream for you guys that didn't see it. There was a lot of little things in there that leaves you wanting to know more. Wait, go into more detail about that, because that sounded interesting. So my gut feeling, Smitty, in chat is there may be other stuff like that they're not fully addressing yet. We'll have to wait and see. Do I like what I hear? What they're doing? I do. And to be quite frankly, whether we agree or not, I don't think that many of us can walk away from this situation and say that nothing is being done. We got to see how they're doing it. Now, that's the part that I'm still cautious about. Again, I haven't been down there. So let me put that out there for anybody who's going to say, oh, well, he's going to say that. And, yeah, he's a game changer. Listen, I have not been down there for Madden 20. I have no idea. Most of you guys who've been following us should be able to tell that. Can't y'all tell I'm not my normal self in terms of semi-giving information? I don't know. If any time you should believe my opinion and Smitty's opinion, it should be now. We ain't been there. But all of the stuff that's on paper sounds good. But what else? I need to know what is going on with scouting, free agency, roster management in general, morale. Is there a wear and tear element? Because they talk about these situations that you might be able to get, like the Antonio Brown holdout and all of that stuff. So, the Le'Veon Bell holdout, excuse me, and the Antonio Brown situation. They made sure that they used those examples. So does that mean that there can be a contract battle now? Can I front load or back load, or can a guy, what? I need to know more about those core elements. And that stuff is not being talked about. So I still got one eye up like, okay, but what about the rest of the stuff that's already there? Now, this ability stuff sounds great. The spreading of the ratings sounds great. A lot of other stuff that I'll mention to you guys here on the call, man, because I took a few notes, and me and Smitty will chop it up back and forth. But I'm just giving you my high-level overview. I will say this, man. There's a lot of fickle people in the Madden community. I see people already saying this is going to be the greatest Madden ever. Yeah, okay. Then I see people on the other side of the spectrum. Man, they didn't do anything to franchise. They don't care. Huh? What? I don't get that. And the last thing I would say before I throw it to Smitty. Well, you know what? I'm going to save that for later in the show because it's something I want to tie into all of this. But Smitty, man, what are your initial reactions? I know we got a lot to dive into, but what is your initial reactions based off of the article and what was said and talked about in that stream?
I like what they basically touched on. They basically, they gave us an intro. It was basically like an intro dive. I would say they took a deep dive into the shallow end of the pool at this point, basically. Because like what you said, Tim, what about free agency? What about player morale? What about, what about the different scenarios? What about when you switch up, you get rid of that Hall of Famer and you bring in that rookie? How's that going to look? You know what I'm saying? This was more of a half and half because they did talk about the franchise stuff. They talked about the scenario engine and everything. But it was more of a hybrid discussion because they tied in the face of the franchise mode along with it as well. Am I disappointed with the information that we got at this point? No, not at all, because I wanted this. Am I glad to hear them at least glance at the surface details regarding um, um, the superstar and X Factor abilities? Yeah, they didn't dive into it at all. And one thing that is interesting is that they're talking about, like they said, they spread it out. They spread out the player ratings. That's a huge deal. Now, how far does that well go? That's something we won't find out more than likely until EA Play. And as you listen, if people listen to what was said in the stream, remember what Kralo has said. That feedback survey is for them to take that feedback and they're going to apply that to, when it comes to when they stream at EA Play. So there's going to be future streams covering these exact same topics at EA Play, which I'm pretty sure are going to be much deeper, and more in depth. And plus, I'm pretty sure they'll let us, they'll show us some stuff moving at that point in time. So, I mean, I took it as, as the way it's moving right now. I'm cool with it. But like we said, we have questions because there are things that have to be delivered, and this is the key thing. All of it has to work. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing.
Yes.
It all has to work well. And see, this once again, we're talking about a tree. We're talking about one of the branches on the tree. We didn't even talk about the actual tree itself, the roots and all that stuff. We're talking about the olive branches. This is one of the olive branches right here, which is, it's a good thing because we never hear about franchise mode in the front. You know what I'm saying? On the front end. And then now these guys talk about it on the front end like this. I'm cool with that. So we gotta wait and see though. That's the unfortunate part about it. But this isn't new in that regard, at least for us. We know about that. It's just that we gotta wait and find out more when it comes to EA Play. That's gonna be a big deal. So for those of you guys that are going to attend EA Play, I highly doubt you're going to be able to play franchise games at EA Play, but, you'll be able to at least check it out, see what's going on with the game and all that stuff, and maybe we'll have a lot more detailed information. Well, I would assume we would at that point. But that's like my general skidding the surface kind of deal that I take away from it right now.
Yeah, man, and real quick, man, let's give a round of applause to Antoine coming in here, dropping a donation for us.
Shout out to Antoine, man. Always coming through.
Definitely appreciate that, man. And again, guys, for you guys coming in later, I'm just going to keep updating you. I forgot I had to dry my son's clothes. My man cave shares it with the dryer and washing machine, so you might hear that in the background. And again, man, let's give credit to Smitty. Smitty is on vacation, folks. He is in a hotel. I'm not going to tell you where he is, but he's in a nice place with some nice weather. So if you hear background noise, listen. We're committing to bringing this show to you guys regardless of the circumstance. But let me say this really quick too, man. Like Smitty said, it is so much more I need answered. It's hard to trust it. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Me and Smitty know the process, man. We've been down there several times. Whoa!
Yo! C-Mad!
Round of applause to C-Mad.
Whoa! Oh, man.
Wow. Coming through with the big time donations, man.
Oh, Sim, hold on. Before you go ahead, let me say this real quick. I know my man Jumpman just said it. We got 71 people watching right now. There's 12 likes, 1 dislike. Could we get more people hitting that like button, please? Smashing that like button and sharing this, please. That would be vastly appreciated. So that way we can get more people watching this and checking this out. We would greatly appreciate that. But big up, C-Mad.
C-Mad. You've gone mad, C-Mad. Man, we appreciate that. I mean, round of applause don't even do it any justice. So definitely appreciate it. Oh, and Thad Radcliffe too, man. Listen, it don't matter what the dollar amount is. Round of applause. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. So, all right, man. So, it's like this. It's hard to trust what else has been done because here's the tricky part of knowing the process. Smitty and I both know there's not a lot of time. So, I'm going to give you guys a harsh reality. It could very well be that everything that we hear in the stream is it. I don't know that. I'm not alluding to anything. Listen, I don't know. I'm being honest with y'all. I haven't been down there. Last time I was down there was actually at a franchise event last May. I would love to have gone to one this year, whether there was or not. I don't know. I know the process is a little different. I know things have been a little different since, them kind of reconstructing how they do things internally. So, some of the stuff is not because we're just not there. It's just, and again, I'm not going to go too far into that, but there are internal things that they're doing differently as far as showcasing the game, events, et cetera, et cetera. But regardless of the point, I want you guys to make sure you are aware that me and Smitty have not been to EA for Madden 20. We have no idea. So this stuff we're finding out at the same time you guys are. Now, again, it could very well be that this is all. These could be all the features for franchise. But then there also very well could be other things that we don't know. I don't think we know enough about the scenario engine and what that, controls. And to me, it sounds like you're going to have some assets around it to support it. How do you, like I said a little while ago, how do you support a holdout? How do you support somebody demanding a trade? And, even they lightly went over in the article. They basically went over there and it said something about, having to manage your cap space more realistically. So what have you guys done in that area? Again, one of the things me and Smitty have been dying for is wear and tear, and shout outs to Shopmaster if he, sees this video. We've been talking about progressive fatigue for years. We don't know if any of that stuff has been addressed. So there's a lot of questions to be asked and answered. And I'm going to roll off some questions here in a moment. We'll converse amongst ourselves, and I want to get you guys' input. But I did see somebody say in the chat, Smitty, and this was one of my main questions, as some of you guys remember in the independent video I did. I wanted to know, and Smitty and I actually talked about this the other day. I wanted to know how many resources were being shared with the superstar, face of the franchise, and the standard franchise, just playing as a coach, playing as an owner, etc. Right? Now, from what we're hearing, even in that stream, there was a lot of cross-reference talk there. It seemed like a lot of the stuff that's happening that is affecting the game on and off the field, if you're playing as the QB, will also be in standard franchise. But they even said in the stream, and this would be the same if you're just playing as a coach. I thought that was interesting. I don't know if it goes as far, Smitty, as, like the little combine stuff and all that we talked about. I don't know if it will. But my main concern is just the core functionality of whatever they're doing with rosters and abilities and all that kind of stuff. I want it to share whatever is being done in Superstar. And that would make me very, very happy if they do that, because obviously there's a benefit in building everything together. And another round of applause to Koyo, I believe. Koyo?
Yeah, I think that's Koyo. Shout out to him. And I didn't say shout out to Thad. Shout out to Thad as well on his donation as well. Greatly appreciate that, man.
Appreciate you, man. Your guys are coming through heavily tonight.
Oh, awesome, man.
And what else did I want to say, Smitty, before we get into the questions? Yeah, it's a lot, man. I will say this. It looks like the commitment is there to some degree. I won't go all the way out on the limb, but I don't think I can say with a straight face that they're not giving any attention to franchise. I don't think I can say that anymore. And again, I'll go deeper into that part a little later in the show, because I'm going to reveal something to you guys that, y'all know I always try to throw a little nugget, or at least let you guys know what my thought process is or was. But Smitty, man, let's address a couple of these things here that I wrote down. I took a few notes. Now, when they were talking about being able to create your face and all of that, they talked about more extensive tuning and tools to be able to, create a guy that looks more like you. Here's my question, and I think they pretty much answered it, unless they're holding it in the tuck. Why don't they have the face scan app the same way they do for NBA Live? What's up with that?
Yeah, I don't know. See, I went in. I would think that if they're doing something along that line, I would think that they would need to systematically get that working in terms of doing that, because I know Live had it built out for their game, but maybe it was something that they couldn't necessarily get fully developed and it working right in time, if that's the case. Because see, that's the whole thing. This could be all the details we get, but at the same time, that could be something more talked about at EA Play, and then be like, oh, guess what, guys? You know that thing you got with NBA Live? Hey, yeah, you could use it for Madden too. Like they could very well have that. Like you said, they could have that in the chilling in the cut, just waiting to unveil that. But if not, I mean, am I going to be unimpressed or disappointed? Personally, no. I wouldn't be disappointed. Because the key thing I care about is gameplay.
Absolutely.
It's the core gameplay.
Let's not forget that.
So if the core gameplay is on point, I don't even care about the gameplay. See, that's the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. That's kind of working backwards in that sense. Like, well, man, how come they ain't got the game face in there? But we haven't even played the game yet. You know what I mean? We haven't even seen the game run yet. So I'm not worried about that right now. It's got to stop a moment, man. Smooth
coming through
with the $5, man.
Round of applause.
Big ups to you guys, man. Goodness gracious, y'all coming through in a major way tonight. But no, man. Like what I was saying, it all comes down to how the gameplay is. So if it's, I'll say this: if it's more faces that you're able to select this year, and then next year they say, hey, you could put yourself in the game for real, I'm perfectly okay with that. That's fine. But at least giving more options, I'm cool with that too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, because I mean, we don't design games and stuff like that or anything like that, but I'm saying, like, maybe when it comes to animating your character and having the facial, the texture mapping work, maybe they only have it mapped for those particular faces, and not saying if we have a dynamic user created and they just put them in the game and do it, it'll work automatically. I don't know if they could just do that or not, or is it something that you have to actually program, like how 2K does it with theirs? You could take the picture and all that, but they've had years of evolving that system. We're saying, like, Madden should just do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, out the gate. I don't know if they could do that. So that's what I'm just saying. Like, maybe that's the case with, in that regard. Who knows?
Yeah.
But that's all I got on that one, though, man.
Seems like they could cheat a little bit, man. Because you got a helmet on. It wouldn't have to be as perfect, but right. Yeah, just interesting. It would seem like, I always get on Tiburon and I'm always comparing them to EA Canada. So it would just seem like, since EA, Tiburon actually has that face scan app right there in their building, it seems like they would have been able to do it, but not that big a deal. At first, Smitty, we talked offline. I wasn't sure I really cared for the QB1, because I'm a little disappointed, man, that it's only on a quarterback. But even you reminded me that it does state in the original article that you can play with other players. You just won't get all the narrative and all of that. But I'm gonna be honest, man. I mean, after listening to some of the stuff they said tonight about how you bump into other players and sitting there with your age, I might go through it. I don't know if I would do a series on it or anything. We'll see, but I might go through it just to see what it's like. So we'll see. But the next thing I wanted to ask you about, and ask you guys as well in the chat. And also, let me take a quick side note here. I see some of you guys coming in. Shout outs to Brooklyn Bully, longtime follower. Let me see if I can find There was another guy earlier in the chat, man. I want to try to give you guys credit and call your names out. Man, it's too far for me to see it. But basically, both of you kind of share the same sentiment, saying that you're not impressed or, disappointed. I want you guys to share that with us. I want to have a discussion about it. And, it's not about whether you should be or shouldn't. We just want to know, like, what do you not like? What would you expecting to see, or what turns you away? What turns you off? I'm interested in knowing what you guys' thoughts are. Let's see. So the next thing. Of course, guys, we want gameplay. Shout outs to Rodney Cherry. Let's not get that twisted. Y'all know gameplay is what hinges all of this. I mean, I need to know what's up with this gameplay. And speaking of gameplay, I will skip to one of the questions, Smitty. This was the last note I took. It caught my ear a little bit later in the stream. They made reference of ball trajectories being updated and or fixed. I'm a little intrigued by what is that. I need to see what have y'all done to this passing system. Because I will say this without saying too much. There have been some sources that I think there's going to be some different things happening with the passing. I'll just leave it there. I don't want to go too far again. It's just information that I heard. And then hearing them say that tonight too, that makes all the difference in the world. A better passing system, I mean, we all can deal with that. And we all need that in Madden. Target passing didn't hit its mark. It was a good try. I'll be honest and say I like to take some of the blame for that, as well as Smitty and Azure, because as many years as we talked about ball placement, I'm pretty sure that was part of, definitely part of the influence for that. Real quick, Brooklyn Bully says highlights from the other games. So okay, you said they didn't have that. I want assistant coaches. Well, again, this is my thing. This is my point, Brooklyn Bully. I'm glad you brought that up, because me and Smitty can discuss that real quick too. These are the things we don't know yet, and those are the questions that I have too. I've tried to reach out to some people, and again, guys, I'm not down there, and I'm not NDA'd, so I don't expect people to give me info, but I want to know that too. I want to know, because they made. Oh, that's another one of my points here. I took a note. Didn't you hear in the stream when they said something about you getting a call from your offensive coordinator asking you how you want to approach this opponent? Now, that could just be a part of the narrative, but it bears the question. Wait, are you telling me that there's offensive, defensive coordinators in the game? These are the things I still want to know. What else about franchise? I think tonight was mainly just focusing on face of the franchise, which I understand, guys. Let's not be naive. We understand the whole marketing back of the box. I'm pretty sure that is the baby. That is who we're going to nurture. And we're going to try to, and you even heard Mike Young say it in the stream, right out of his mouth. He said, hey, we think this is what brings casual people in. He said that verbatim. So clearly, marketing is approaching, they're going to use, be a superstar, be the face of the franchise as their back of the box. But just because he mentioned offensive and he didn't say defensive, but he said, referenced your offensive coordinator, and they're, getting a call asking how you might want to approach the team if you're playing as the coach. Bruh. So, are you telling me that there's offensive and defensive coordinators and or assistant coaches? And what other thing that Brooklyn Bully said, Smitty, he says moving a franchise, and then he said highlights from other games. He said I made with Shop that this is not more this is no more info on the huh? Write that again, man. I think you're saying that Shop said there's no more info on CFM. I don't know. And if so, I'm speculating, but I'm not sure Shop would say that this early in the process. But anyway, let's just say this real quick. Let's get this off our chest. How do we feel if these are the only upgrades to franchise? That's the number one question I have for you, Smitty, and the chat. And then also, guys, again, I have to always say this. I refuse to allow myself to get caught up in the hype. We know the routine. Every single year, what do we continue to say? And I say we as a community, we always say, well, they can't do everything in 1 year. So why, oh, why is it that we still feel as if we're going to get a plethora of things done in 1 year? We're still talking about EA Tiburon. We can't have it on both ends of the spectrum. We can't at one time think, oh, we know how they get down, and everybody knows that. But then we got the loftiest of lofty expectations for them. How does that work? You know, I don't operate like that with EA Tiburon. Y'all know how I feel. Relationship and all. I feel like EA Tiburon is playing the back. They got to prove to me that they trying to do something. I still feel like they are the most behind still. In one cycle, Madden 20 ain't going to fix that. I don't care what they do. Madden 20 will not be as deep as 2K overall. It ain't going to happen. Not in a cycle. Now, I agree if some of you guys were expecting something else before what they did. But again, if I step away from it, that's just being subjective. Of course, there's things that I see that I wish they would have did this instead. But it's never going to be the case where exactly what you wanted is what they address. And you know, maybe whenever they get to a point where the game is fully blown out. So I'm just saying, I'm just trying to put a little perspective on things. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's things there that we all want that's not there. I'm pretty sure. But the point of right now is how I'm judging EA is, listen, are y'all trying to fix this mode? Are you trying to progress your game? That's what I need to see. You are running in the back. And to quote the late, great Nipsey Hussle, the marathon must continue with EA. This is a marathon. They are in the back. 2K up there and MLB, you know, they in the front, pacing. Like, they not even sprinting no more. They just chilling. Like, yeah, we got this. EA, y'all the ones that need that kick because you are desperately, ridiculously lacking. So you must show and prove. But it looks like they're trying to do something. And we all have to wait and see exactly what that is. That went on a little rant there, man. Oh, round of applause to Twan again. Another donation here.
Oh, man. Antoine, what you say here? Understand franchise is huge. Gameplay is life. Love the idea with traits with certain players. Have certain things. So if true, that's the step in the right direction. No fluff, just gameplay. Can't argue with that. That's where we're all at. We're already at that. You know, that's where we at all along. You know
okay.
Like,
I see what Brooklyn Bully is saying. My bad, Spin. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Ahead.
He says he made a bet with Shop that there's no more info on CFM. I'm saying that there's no more info. Shop think there is. We bet a copy of the game. Hey, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't have taken that bet. And the reason why is because, listen, Shop been down for a long time. Shop might know something that you don't. So I'm just saying. And it ain't nothing for Shop to bet a copy of the game because if he wins, he don't need that copy coming from nobody else. I'm just saying. But again, man, listen, be cautiously optimistic. Like I've been saying, I am not expecting there for there to be a ton more of stuff done. I'm just not. We know the history. And if we're judging it by EA standards, this is a lot. Let's be honest. If we're judging it based off of what they've been doing and how they creep along, this is a lot for them. Now, I'm not talking about, again, let's get out of the mindset of comparing apples to apples. We're not talking about my league here. We're not talking about MLB The Show's franchise. We're talking about Madden improving their circumstance. And based off of the way the Madden team and the Madden suits have been moving, this is way more stuff than we have seen or we could have expected from them. That's all I'm saying. So to expect it for there to be more done to franchise, I'm not expecting that. No way, no how. Surprise me. So we'll see. But Smitty, man, based off of what they mentioned in the stream there, do you think that there's some type of coordinators in this game, or do you think that might just be a narrative thing when playing, as a face of the franchise? Because he did say, if I remember him correctly, I'll have to listen again. It sounded like he said, if you're playing as a coach, then you'll have that scenario. But what you think, man?
Well, I think that as far as it being more than just having the coordinators. Hey, where's the wipes at? Wipes. I need wipes. I'm sorry, Sim. I needed to change. I'm sorry, guys. Dealing with family, everything. Got the little one. Got to change his diaper. But as far as
Smitty putting in that work, guys, on vacation and wiping butts.
Thankfully. No, as far as the coaching stuff and everything, coordinators and all that. I mean, I seriously, for one, I hope that that's true. I hope that it's true to form, that we're going to see actual coordinators and all that stuff. The ultimate goal, at least because it's what we're familiar with, is the coaching carousel.
Right.
I'd like to see that come back, where you got coordinators and head coaches and all that stuff all have different abilities tied to them. Like how we're seeing this year, we're seeing it with the players starting to have abilities. It would be sweet to see that go into the coaching aspect and have, those kind of factors stand out when it comes to coordinators and coaches.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's the kind of stuff that they could build from. So who knows how the well can go? I mean, yeah, every game has a starting point. So, of course, we're going to be like, man, they've had forever and 18 days to give us the game, and they ain't give it to us yet. So because they ain't give it to us yet, that means as soon as they talk about franchise mode year one, that means they got to do it all. No, that's not how it's going to work. So people that are feeling that way, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it is the way it is, but none of these games move at that speed. 2K, you look at my league and all these other modes, like we said this before, those are years. Those are all multiple years of development and building. So Madden doing something like this is going to be multiple years of development and building to get the game where it truly needs to be at. So once again, I know, and like stemming from what Sim has said earlier, here you go, buddy. From what Sim said earlier, I know, and even from people in the chat, like I'm not at the computer right now to look at what people are saying, but from what people were saying earlier, I know people were disappointed. I know people are disappointed because, man, they ain't give enough information. Man, that wasn't a deep dive. They ain't really I get it. Just like I was talking about earlier on Periscope, I know people feel a certain way. They just act like EA is doing very little to nothing in regards of the enhancements, regardless of what blog they put out. Well, let's see. Let's find out. And see, this is a cool thing about it. See, I for one like what they're doing, and it's because of where they can go with it. As long as it is, and I'm gonna say it just like this: as long as the development team is exactly able to do their jobs, okay? As long as the executives allow them to do their jobs according to their roles, we'll see this system play out. We'll see this build up going to the future. And we'll see X Factor and all that stuff go into a whole nother level and other levels and stuff of depth. 2K did it with their badge system. You know, you see MLB, all these other games introduce these abilities and all that jazz. The only place we've seen it in is MUT. That's it. We haven't seen a badge system or anything like that that
Oh
truly
man.
has a levels of evolution. I know dudes in the MUT community say, "Oh, it's broken and that's just Band-Aid stuff." No, this is stuff that's legit. Because look, every other sports game has this kind of stuff in it, but Madden doesn't. Only in MUT they have it. It's like, nah, it's got to be more than that. You got to have some depth. You gotta put some meat on the bone, and you have to have this stuff. That's what I'm saying. Coordinators and trainers and all that stuff. Wouldn't it be cool to see these trainers and everything have attributes and everything? I mean, all the way down to the trainers. And also understand this, guys. We still don't know, like what was said in that article. We still don't know about player morale. We still don't even know, even though it says in the article they talked about how they reworked the contracts and all that stuff. We gotta see it. They ain't show all that stuff on this stream. We have to see it.
Yeah.
They're not gonna unveil everything. I mean, that's the smart part about it. That's where the marketing side kicks in at. You give people just enough to keep them buzzing and get them talking about what it is that you're doing, and then you really hit them with it when the game comes out. I mean, not the game comes out, excuse me. You really hit them with the big reveal at that point in time. It's just like looking at a teaser trailer for a movie, and then you look at the main trailer. That's the one that's going to get you, ooh, when can I get my tickets? Please let me take my money. Please take my money. That's the kind of stuff that's what they're trying to do. We all know the reputation with EA and all that jazz. We ain't even got to go down. We ain't even going down that road. We already know what that is. But in order to restore or start to restore that faith, you have to deliver a sound product. How do you deliver sound product? Is you got to show and prove. How do you show and prove? Doing streams like this. No fluff, no fillers, no hype, no none of that stuff. They got to get their audio right and everything. They can't be having these faux pas happening and all that stuff. Battery almost dead on the cameras and all that. They can't be doing all that. But you got the creative director sitting up there and talking about the game, telling you what's really good with it. All these people that are responsible for these various moving parts talking about the game and showcasing you a little bit of it. But then come EA Play, that's why they're taking the feedback. I filled out the survey before we did the show. You know what I'm saying? I want them to take the feedback and go ahead and from there give us a better stream when it comes to, or whatever it is they unveil next. At the next go around, it's even smoother or it's even better. So when they talk about franchise next, I want to see a lot more in-depth stuff. I want them to touch more on more in-depth things with this game. That's what we need, ultimately. Because why? You have a lot of people, even in this chat right now, that are like, man, they ain't show us enough. Man, I don't believe that there's anything else. Like all that good stuff, right?
Man.
So that's just part of the territory. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Sam. Some people be clowning, but at the same time, EA to a degree, they're responsible for the clown activity.
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Cultivated the atmosphere. All the years of burning people and all that. You created the distrust. So it's like EA earned that. So they have to show improve via the product, and that's it. Now, will they be able to do it? Oh no. We're gonna see come July 30th, but like I said earlier, and I said this is Sim 2. I'm saying this is Sim 2. Now, even though this was not the flashiest of presentation, it still wouldn't surprise me to see that some people went ahead right now and got them pre-orders put in.
Oh, Smitty, that game has been pre-over 10 times over.
Yeah, so I know folk already putting in their pre-orders right now because they saw that franchise. They was like, oh, they did that? oh snap, I can do what? Oh man, I get to play in college? But they ain't even get to the franchise part yet. Ultimate Edition, see y'all on July 30th. Like, okay, oh yeah, hey.
July.
And that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. So
see what happened when you don't have NCAA? They keep creeping that release date on up.
Yeah. Yeah, because because NCAA usually would drop like July 10th or 12th.
Yeah.
And now they got it coming out. They dropping this thing on the 30th. Yeah, but I mean, see, that's another thing in itself right there. Just that part there too. Me and Sim touched on the fact that the game just comes out on the 30th.
That's crazy.
July 30th. That's fuck wild right there. And
shoot,
see, that's right
we might be playing in June. I'm just saying, if tradition follows how, we might be fortunate enough to have that joint mid-July. Never know. Yeah. We'll see. Or how about this? Kia, I know Kia's been a part of it. What if they do a beta?
Yeah.
That beta will be dropped pretty soon, like June-ish.
Like June area. Yeah, see that? That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like it's there's cautious optimism and then there's generous worry. I'm a little bit between the two because of how Madden has came out. Well, I would say how 19 beta was good. It wasn't until they started doing the updates that the game got screwed. But them coming out that early though.
That's why, you know what, real quick, Smitty, because I don't want to forget him. Let's give Kendall a round of applause for his donation.
Big ups to him, man. Big ups to all of y'all.
Appreciate that, man. But I want to comment real quick on what somebody said. And I think you probably will agree with this because it sounded like you were kind of going down that road. Ram Jam Flim Flam says it needs to be an open beta. I actually disagree with that. You know why I disagree with that? Because exactly what Smitty just said. As soon as the masses get a hold of something, then things go haywire. I do not believe there needs to be an open beta. Now let me say this as unselfishly as I can. I'm not just saying this because of the position we're in and obviously we get included in the beta. But let's be honest, a lot of people wanted to be an open beta. And I'm not saying, Flim Flam, that you're saying this. But most people wanted to be an open beta just because they want to be able to play the game themselves. I get it. But I think that would be the worst case scenario with Madden because we already see what happens between the two sides. First you have your casuals, then you have your diehards, then you have your competitive, then you have your sim crowd. Can y'all imagine what Twitter would be like with an open beta for Madden? Just think about that. Oh my God! Between the sim hardcore sim heads and the competitive guys, and they already labbing, trying to figure out what they're gonna use for the tournament. No. You get a solid amount of people. No disrespect to everybody out there, but I like the way they did it. Like I think year 2, when it was not only some of us, but guys like Kia was in there. Guys like, and again, I'm not saying nobody's better than anybody else, but I want a guy like NY Kia with early access to the game if I didn't have access to it. More so than some people that just be riffing and yelling on Twitter. More so than some people who are just YouTube guys. No. I don't want the complainers, the people who are just trashing to be in the beta because I want legit feedback. A guy like Kia gonna say what's good and what's bad, what needs work, what needs to be improved, what's decent, what ain't. Those are the guys who need to be playing the beta. Not open for the world. Absolutely not. Because you know why? An open beta is gonna give you what you get at EA Play. That's what would happen to Madden if it had an open beta. That same situation a year or 2 ago, when they go haywire at EA Play and you got execs behind the closed doors. No, we've got to tune it. No, it's too much defense. Oh, no. You can have that open beta. No, sir. Not with Madden. Madden, unfortunately, guys, as a community, we're not mature enough to handle that. It's just my opinion.
Yeah. He said, let's face it, they don't want our feedback. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's not what it is. See, some people, you got to understand, there's a good number of people that feel everything that Sim said is on point. There literally are people that'll get into this beta and just play. Like, they'll just play the game so they can lab. They're not trying to give feedback. They're not trying to let people know. And then you got people that want to throw up, man, I've been playing Madden for all these years, and you ain't put me in the beta? How dare you not put me in the beta? It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like there's some kind of level of entitlement some people feel like, or they feel like if they gave the feedback, their feedback is going to be their feedback's going to be the key for this game to be successful. And because they don't get it, oh, your game's doomed. Like, I literally saw people act like that when it came to the beta last year. I think it was, last year's beta. And I'm like, dude, there's plenty of knowledgeable people that are talking about the game and playing the beta and all that stuff that are making very valid points in terms of what needs to be done. They know what it is. So, but...
Oh, man. Listen, man. I don't want to... Yeah, and I don't want to turn it into one of those, we're not going against you, my man. I'm just saying, listen, trust me. All of the stuff that people think that they uncover post-launch, let me tell you something.
Okay. Hey,
we usually find those things in the beta.
Yeah. Go ahead. Like, I want to add on. I want to add on this. Okay, so when it comes to cars that come out, do you get to test drive every car well before it's even put out? Like, before it's even in production, do you get to test drive them all? Do we all get to test drive them? If I say I want to test drive the 2022 Dodge Challenger, am I able to just go ahead and do that? I can just roll up the Dodge and just hop in the car and test drive? No, they're not gonna. They're gonna let select people know, casuals and hardcore enthusiasts and the like. And they'll have them come to an event or something like that where they'll be able to see what the car is, get details about it, actually drive and compare it to other vehicles and all that good stuff. That's literally what it's going to be. That's literally what it is. And that's how it is. And no, it's not it's apples to apples, bro, because that's literally what this thing is.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That's how it works. I mean, that is how it works. Not everybody gets the opportunity. It's a selective opportunity that not everybody gets a part of. And when it's made public, like how they did last year, just posting codes out there. Oh, you saw how many people got salty about that?
Yeah.
I mean, people were real pissed off. Oh, I can't believe they might as well make it open beta. Oh, they're just giving codes out and that's what I'm saying. It's if they kept it private and kept it organized like that.
And we saw it last year. We already seen the beef between communities during the beta. And that's my point. You can't, when you have too many hands on anything, there's no way that you can hone in on an actual real issue or a preference. There is no way to do it. And like I said, even if I wasn't a part of it, I'm cool. I would be cool with that. Because there has been times, that they did stuff that I wasn't a part of. I mean, so I'm just saying, man, look, nah. I don't know. I don't really want to go down that rabbit hole. I'm just saying, man, listen. We all know how all this stuff works. The devs do what they can with the time that they have, and that includes tuning and fixing. And that's just how it goes.
I'll say this last point because my man just made a good comment there about what he's saying, Ram Jam. He's saying there's no evidence that they have real interest in meeting the expectations of this particular community. Now, if that's the case, then why is the scenario engine in the game? If that's the case. We talk about emulating what happens in the NFL. These dudes literally have an engine that's based off of real world headline kind of scenarios that have literally took place over the past several years in the NFL. That alone is catering to this community. And that's a major way. When we talked about player movement, I mean, I know it sucks that it got, it's been nerfed and took out and all that. But when True Step was introduced in Madden, it's the same thing. Who talked about player movement? That wasn't casuals. That was this community that did that. You know what I mean? Or when we talked about wideout DB interactions, this community, pass trajectories and all that stuff, and all. We don't know how far they went as far as addressing it this year, but we're hearing hints about it right now. That's our community that's talking about that stuff. That's us. So I mean, you just gotta literally look at that stuff. We've said this for years. We're the smallest community, but at the same time, we have the biggest, most impactful voice when it comes to what happens in regards to the game, because that stuff is literally stuff that we are going after. You know what I'm saying? That we're talking about saying, yo, they need this, that, and the third to happen in Madden. And these are things that they're doing. Or even, he's assuming, I mean, we don't know what it is going to be exactly, but at the same time, the mere fact that they're attempting that's literally us. That's our community right there. That speaks testament to us. So we just got to see how it all unfolds. That's the unfortunate part, but we got to wait and see how it all unfolds, bro. And if it hits, it hits. If it don't hit, well, you already know how. Sim said it. I said it too. Dude, I'll be playing 2K. I'll be playing 2K, man, and that's it. Like, and then there's other good games to play. Like, I'm not just. I'll watch football on Sundays and I'll play other games. That's it, man.
I think it's some misinterpretation too, man. I see somebody saying that. Are y'all saying that the scenario engine only applies to Superstar? If that's what your comment was about, that's not correct. The scenario engine, to my understanding, will affect actual franchise. From basically everything that they talked about in the stream, for the most part. I'm not talking about the cutscenes and all that, but for the most part, as far as those types of functionalities, that's going to be in standard franchise also, not just Superstar. So, and again, guys, let's not turn this into a... How can I say this, man? You guys have noticed, man, that I've been a little more reserved. Look, I can't waste my energy on this type of stuff no more. I'm at the point where we know what EA is. And shout outs to my homie Dez, because me and Dez had this conversation, man. We know what EA Tiburon is, right? We all usually expect the worst from them. So I just don't understand, why do we all of a sudden, as soon as something's not done, it's almost like the expectations through the roof, where if you know what you're dealing with, then we should be like, well, let's wait and see what they're doing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, well, we cannot ignore. We can't ignore this particular point. This is something that a lot of you guys forget about every single year. If a game or anything, but let's just talk about video games. If a game, in your opinion, has been trash, and I'm just talking about your own opinion, if something has been trash, particularly if you think Madden has been trash for the last 5 years, how is it possible that it's going to be excellent the next year? Wouldn't it at least take that amount of time to get back to excellence? And again, I'm not putting a time frame out there. I'm just talking, general, just a general sense, a metaphor, if you will. We cannot ignore the fact that I said it earlier. They are behind. They are clearly behind. They are. And where all of you guys should have been by now is y'all should have been at this level right here. You should be approaching Madden like, all right, I need to see y'all make some changes. And I need to see what those changes are. I need to see progress being made year after year after year. Because if you're thinking that it's just going to magically happen the next year, again, guys, listen. Who are the ones that we keep blaming every year? We're still talking about the suits at EA Tiburon. Why are we expecting so much to change? Just like that. I don't understand how y'all still there. This ain't a Smitty and Sim thing. This ain't a EA and our connection to EA thing. No, this is just general life. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like you shouldn't have that confidence. We all should be sitting here saying, all right, show me. That's how I am right now. We're merely on this show just talking about what was put out there and how we feel about it. You know, let's not dive into all the minute stuff. Obviously, who wants gameplay more than us? So I don't even know why that conversation even comes up as a counterpoint, as if we're, me and Smitty are so focused on franchise. Y'all already know. For us, gameplay is the core centerpiece for everything. That's the common denominator. If the gameplay is not on point, I could care less about all of this stuff that we learned tonight and anything that we're going to learn up until launch. If that gameplay doesn't support these features, who cares? Who cares? That's how I feel. So, of course, we have to see if the gameplay is going to support it. But that's not what we're talking about tonight. All we are talking about tonight, for most of us who are sim heads, we're also franchise guys. All we are talking about is, are they showing any type of promise? That's it. And let me say this, Smitty, because, we might not run till 10 o'clock, guys, and, we always block that amount of time out, but, it is a little difficult sometimes when I have to commute the next day, so we'll try to get through the topics, and if we're here at 10, so be it. If not, but I want to say this, man, before going forward. Over the last few months or so, you guys have been hearing me continue to say, Madden 20 has got to show me something, right? It's got to show me something. I've been saying that. Let me tell y'all why. The benefit of myself being connected to EA as well as Smitty, as well as Azure, we have had the pleasure of knowing things to come from years ago. We knew when such and such was going to come. We knew when this was going to come. We knew when that was going to come. I had a conversation with Rex probably, Smitty, 3 years ago? 2-3 years ago, when we talked about differentiation of players and how that needed to be in the game. And believe it or not, I don't think there's an issue with me saying this. That was supposed to happen before now, folks. Yeah. That was in the plans before Madden 20. To be able to give players special abilities and likeness, and yes. And I'm still not even going to go into detail on the conversation because it was even a little deeper. But that was in the plans, right? So anyway, fast forward to Madden 20. The reason why y'all keep hearing me say, look, Madden 20 is going to be my end all be all, because I know what type of things I was told that would be implemented starting with Madden 20. Got delayed a little something, but I knew a couple years back where the game should be going towards by Madden 20. So the reason why I keep saying it's going to tell me a lot about, remember, what's the key word I kept telling y'all? The direction. The reason why I've been saying that is because I want to know if it's still on the same path that it was when I was told these things. When Rex was in the building. And when they had to, told us to plan for 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. As long as there's no hiccups. So that's why I kept telling y'all, 20 gonna tell me a lot about the direction. And if I see a little hitch in that direction, maybe I might have to consider doing something else. Now, let's say this as well. We still don't know. I have no idea about anything else. I have no idea about gameplay. I don't know what they're doing there. I don't know what else is incorporated in franchise if this is it. I have no idea. So I'm still sitting back cautiously waiting. Like, okay, let me see. Sounds good on paper. I happen to like a lot of the stuff that they are talking about, but again, I think, we've all said it here tonight. I still want to know about some of these other things. Are there offensive and defensive coordinators that work with schemes? That's the way I would have done it. Is the scheme glitch locked? And for those of you guys that don't know about the glitch, yeah, you can keep changing your scheme throughout the year and get players more XP and go back. Guess where that was found, guys? Not even the beta. That we found that last year at a franchise event. Like, whoa, this is an exploit. And then when the beta came out, it was more people that were a part of the beta who brought it to my attention. I was like, yeah, I know. That's been there. It never got fixed. So this is what we're saying. The open beta is not like you're opening the door to so many more people that are going to find things that others don't. Now, granted, more eyes, definitely more things will pop up. But all I'm saying is a lot of this stuff, man, that the game releases with, they already know it. They already know it. It's up to them to get this stuff fixed and incorporated. So that's why I'm at with it right now, Smitty and everybody else, man. Listen, it sounds good on paper. I need to see how it's implemented. It needs to be balanced. Kia made a reference a little earlier where he said he don't want to see no 50 overall player being able to stonewall Khalil Mack because he has some X factor ability. I 100% agree with that. Now, can a guy have a decent game one day? Sure. Let's be biased for a minute. Can Jalen Samuels have a decent game against the New England Patriots last year and we didn't know what type of running back he was? Sure. But did he do that again? The rest of the time he played? No. When James Conner was out? No. He wasn't the same guy the next week. And that's my point. You can have a game, but I don't want this guy to just have this X factor ability and he's a 50 overall, even though I do like the fact that they said there's hidden traits and some of these guys, you got to develop them in order to find out. See, so Smitty, that's another question. What else is there in development? Because did you hear them say this? I wrote this down. They also said that performance. They said that one of the guys, I forget the guy's name, but he said that based off of the game this guy has, his level of play and his skills can be increased based off him having a good game. Smitty, how long have we been saying on this show that you need to be able to develop players off of performance? We've been saying that forever.
For a long time.
You see what I'm saying? So even though we're so critical, guys, I'm sorry. I'm just not the type of person that clouds my mind with all negativity. There is good stuff that they are talking about. And there are things that we don't know about. And again, there's going to be things that they're not going to do that I'm sure all of us will be like, dang, man, we needed that. Of course that's going to be the case. But I'm not going to sit here. I wouldn't be one of the sim voices or one of the community voices that you guys have given us. I wouldn't be a great representative of that voice if I sat here and act like they're not doing anything that sounds intriguing. I'm sorry, I just can't do that. That's not me keeping it real. To act like there's nothing that we heard or reading that sounds intriguing, I'm sorry, I'm just not there. The other things real quick, Smitty, and I'll get your thoughts. I'll just read them, the rest of the things I had here, guys. I got from the stream, they said lower players can break out based off of performance, which I kind of just said there. They made some mention of position battles. Now, does that only apply to the QB1, or is this also in regular franchise? These are questions we got to ask. They also said something about a 32-man or multi-man league being able to play their own version of the Pro Bowl based off of your record. So from what I got from that, say Smitty and I playing in our league, and say me and Smitty have decent years. We both go, say, 11-5 or something like that. Then we'll be able to get matched up and play the Pro Bowl, as well as, say, Azure and Caleb or Tavis or one of these guys that might even have a better record. They'll be able to match up and play. That's kind of cool. Just to add a little sizzle to it. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
What else did I have? That might have been all that I wrote down. The ball trajectories, we did address that. And yeah, I wrote this down too. They said something about new player progression that suits your play style. And it progresses your abilities more so than it progresses your ratings. That sounds interesting. So it makes me wonder, are there more training things? I mean, it's so many questions unasked, man, that I need to get full details. So that's my question, Smitty. If they haven't addressed anything else, if franchise is as we know it now in terms of scouting, trading, free agency, developing your player, if it all remains the same, how do we feel about what they are doing to franchise? My answer would be, yeah, I'd be a little disappointed, man, because I think a lot of those other core functions might even be more important than adding some of this stuff on top of it. But I would be appreciative of seeing that they're paying attention to franchise, because that's really all I was waiting for 20 guys. Just to wrap this up, and then I'll throw it to Smitty. That's why I've been saying what I've been saying for the last few months. I needed to see some changes made to franchise. They've been telling us this was coming for a few years now. We haven't seen it. It's been delayed. And that's why I said, listen, if 20 is not doing it, that's going to tell me a lot about this game, this company in terms of the people who run Madden. I need to see a commitment to franchise. I can honestly say it looks like they're paying some attention to it. And it's not going to be fully blown. I'm sorry to disappoint you guys, but it's not. It's not going to be everything we want. Well, those are just my 2 cents, man. That's it. That's all I got on it.
Yeah. No, I mean, once again, co-signing with you on it, but the key thing here is that with what we're getting at this point, to be honest, it wouldn't be like, if this was all we got, would I be let down? I would, to a degree, but at the same time, this is foundational building. Now, see, the only problem here is that it's Electronic Arts, Tiburon, and as we all have bore witness to, they'll start on a track doing one thing, and then things get watered down, derailed, switched up, all that stuff. We can't keep having that. No, we cannot keep having that stuff happen, and that's literally what keeps happening. So when I see Mike Young post what he posts, with that off that Game Informer interview, and like, this is a goal that this is more of a long-term goal. Like, we want this game to be RPG-esque in the franchise mode realm of things. That's great to hear. Now, like, all the stuff Sim has said, and even the nook and cranny stuff that some people may not have caught, hey, I'm happy. I'm excited to, like, I look forward to, I won't say I'm excited, but I look forward to finding out these other details in depth. Like, I want to know in depth how much you did. Hey, if it's only 1 or 2 things that they basically did that goes along that in-depth line, then that's all they were able to do that year. That's fine. But see, the cool thing is, we got something to legitimately talk about as a community to build from. Unlike in various years in the past, because what has franchise mode been? They add something, but it doesn't hold any weight. Here, we have scenario engine. Now, depending upon how that works, we can definitely elaborate on that. We can talk about coaching carousels. Like, there are some moving parts. That's the better word for it. There's moving parts here. So there's something that we can look at and be like, yo, look at what EA is doing, and because of what they're doing, we can actually talk to this and talk to that. We're not just speaking in the wind and saying, well, look at what 2K had in their game, and it would be cool to see EA do something like no. Now EA has something. You know what I mean? Now, What happens when it comes to injury? What as far as that, how does that impact morale? You know what I mean? You have a star player go down. What does that mean? Is your team going to be like next man up, or are they really going to feel the effects of that loss? You know, that kind of stuff. Now, that may not be something that happens in the very first game, but that's something that we look forward to. That's something that would be exciting to see them potentially build on and do something like that. Or we can definitely speak up and be like, yo, in this regard and that regard, I would love to see something like that done for the future, in franchise mode. We got to wait and see what these guys do. But this is the thing. The ratings, the quarterback addressing, the scenario engine, all that stuff, we still got to see how this game runs on the field. When it comes to players, think about it like this. When it comes to players getting injured, do we have real-time physics even governing any of that, or is it all just static animation? And if it is static animation, how well is this system going to run?
Yes.
Various things like...
That's the question.
Know. Yeah. Because, see, you have something good going on. Man, franchise mode ain't got all that, but this gameplay, though. You see what I'm saying? Like, this gameplay, though, hey, coupled with what they do have in franchise mode, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Now, they can elaborate on it, of course. They can always do more, but I'm not disappointed with what they're giving us so far. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And that can very much be the case, but as we all go off the historical curve when it comes to Madden, we're like, I don't know about that, because we all know how Madden get down. We all know how EA is. So that's stuff that they got to show and prove. Like what Sim and I have already been saying. They got to prove what's going on, man. They got to prove that they got some good stuff for us to get into this year. And unfortunately, we got to wait another 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Before we truly know.
That gameplay stream got to come with it, man.
Yeah, so...
If they holding anything back for franchise and they going to reveal later, I hope they ain't doing that for gameplay. I hope they bust their gun all the way for gameplay. You can keep everything else for later. Gameplay is again, guys, y'all should know this by now. That is the backbone for everything. We're only talking franchise crazy tonight because that's all we know to date. That's the only reason why we're focusing on that. Next week, we'll focus on, they're going to talk more about the abilities. Then that show will be based on that one. So that just be patient, man. Don't think that we're negating gameplay. Of course, that is the cornerstone.
Right. Gameplay is everything. You know what I'm saying? Gameplay dictates how the game plays. Regardless of everything they add. That's going to be the key. And see, that's what I'm saying. There's something about it, especially when it's the last thing you show. Basically, as far as consoles and stuff are concerned, it's the last one you show. Over Ultimate Team, that's crazy. Because, Ultimate Team is a marquee moneymaker, and it's like, you going to put that out, then put gameplay out? It's like, okay.
That's interesting.
Okay, well, that's an interesting way to go about it. And then you think back to the article Mike Young did when he talked about the gameplay, and he said they were ahead of schedule and all that. So it's like, oh wow, okay, they may have something good here. So we'll have to wait and see what these guys do. But yeah, I'm impressed. Like I said, I am impressed. But I'm not like, my mind is not like blown away and everything. Like, oh my gosh, they did it. Like, no. We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see.
Seeing is believing. We gotta
play it. Yeah. So that's where we at, man. So let me see. Yeah. So, and I mean, listen, we've said it 50 billion times. That's why like what Sim said, I'm saying different approaches with it. We're not getting caught all up in the riffraff. Some people, like I said, there's some people that get it. There's some people that don't get it, and that those are the people that you have to spread the knowledge to, educate them, put them up on game. But then you also have the sector of people that you tell them, and they choose not to get it because they want to stay in their way. They want to stay stubborn. Madden needs to have. Look at these headlines that happen in the NFL. Look at this. Man, it'd be sweeter. See, it'd be sweet if Madden did something like that, but Madden ain't doing nothing like that. Then you see Mike Young talk about the scenario engine. Man, watch it be broke. Oh, okay. Well, that's where your mind is at. You know what I'm saying? Then there's nothing more to talk about because watch it not even be that. Okay. Well, that's. That doesn't do anything. That does nothing. That does nothing for nobody. All you're doing is spreading pessimism. You're just spreading around your pessimistic view. That's all you're doing. You just literally don't believe that the game ain't never gonna be right. Okay, that's your belief. Then have that.
Why even be involved at all? Then I will never understand that.
Never. So it is what it. And I mean, that's what it literally is going on here. So I'm like, all right, man. We want this game to be reflecting the NBA 2Ks, the FIFAs, the PESs, the MLB, the shows, and all that. In order for the game to reflect any of that stuff, it has to be built. It has to be built out. I don't give a care. 3-year plan, 5-year plan, decade-long plan. I don't care. The bottom line is that all those other games had multi-year. It took them multiple years to get to the points where they're at. So I'm not going to sit up here and hold Madden to, they got to get it there in 1 or 2 games. No, that's ridiculously unrealistic. But we are going to be harshly critical as far as what the game has and doesn't have and all that good stuff. And they have a healthy amount of good stuff in the game right now. Considering this little bit. So it's an improvement, but they're not blowing folks' socks off and blowing minds and everything, not at that rate. So we'll see.
We'll see, man. And I will address a few things here, man, and then we can pretty much close it out, man. We don't have much more to ramble about. I just wanted to address a couple things really quick. A few of the comments. Me personally, I'm no longer going to explain why things is this, why things are that. And the reason why I'm saying that, guys, is there's so much that we all should know by now. Rex's interview said a lot, and I'm going to comment on that. Shout outs to Drizzy, 89 Leon. I want to make a comment about that interview, something that you guys need to pay attention to. But, I see some of the same people, guys, like year after year or day after day, y'all are asking questions that y'all know the answer to. So I'm just not going to waste my time anymore. And no disrespect, but I'm just not, why are we still asking questions about, well, why couldn't they fix this? Why couldn't they fix that? Rex's interview should have told y'all, he gave you the answer right there. Like, y'all have to sometimes listen to what is happening. Take your preference out of it. Take all of that off of the table and just listen. Again, I'm going to shout out the homie Dez, because Dez has pieced all this stuff together. Many people have been able to do it by just paying attention. It should be clear that obviously certain things have not been a priority at EA Tiburon. We all should know that. So I don't understand why we try to make points and ask questions like, well, why didn't it? Y'all know why. The people have told y'all why. The former creative director has told you exactly why. And reason why he left. So that's number one. Number two, if we know that, we at a point where we just waiting for them to show improve. That's it. That's all I'm doing. I don't put all my eggs in the Madden thing no more. I just don't. I don't have the energy to do that. And listen, I'm not trying to go at nobody. I'm just saying all of that, countless videos about that. I don't have time for that no more. Because honestly, Madden is not that important to me in terms of a video game. I continue to give feedback. I continue to do the Sim Standard thing. Because listen, I'm a gamer. I'm probably always going to be a gamer. So why not try to get the game that I like the most in terms of sports be the best it could be? I want a football game to be phenomenal. So I'll keep giving my feedback and all that stuff. And if they're improving, great. But if they don't, oh well. Now, I move on. Like Smitty said, man, I already know that I'll be playing 2K this year again. I'm having a blast with my MLB The Show right now. I ain't putting no videos up really because, again, y'all don't watch them. So I ain't wasting my time doing that. Having a blast. So it is what it is. I play Madden. I put a video up today. I play in a 32-man league that makes it at least a decent experience. And like NYKia has said before, go watch that game I posted today. There, you can actually get a good experience out of the game sometimes. Sometimes the game plays with minimal problem. And you'd be like, wow. Then you'll have that game like Azure was telling us in our group that he had a 9-turnover game. Now, let me tell y'all something. Azure don't do that. Azure don't have no game where he just throwing crazy passes and stuff. That was just the game just going haywire. I'm pretty sure I didn't watch the game, but you have those moments with Madden also, and that's what's frustrating. It's just not consistent. But anyway, I wanted to address Drizzy's comment. He said, Rex's interview here lately got me on my toes about buying release day. The Frostbite take crushed me when he said it put them years behind. I want to expand on that, man, so you guys kind of can read between the lines of what Rex was trying to say. You can believe what I'm saying here because obviously I've been there for it. Rex is basically talking about, in a nutshell, even before I get into the Frostbite bit, he's basically talking about the culture there. He spelled out why he had differences, why he chose to leave. He plainly told you guys about, how he was always rejected with his plan to fix versus innovate until we fix. And that got shut down. And all due respect to Rex, like I said, there's other stuff that even I know that me and him have talked about that I'm not going to share unless he allows me to do so, as to why he may have walked away. So he's talking about culture. That's why I keep preaching that to y'all. Pay attention to what the culture, what are they doing at EA Tiburon? That's what we need to see. We need to see a shift in focus, a shift in culture. The first thing that we were looking for was franchise. Okay, now it seems like they're trying to do something to franchise. Now guess what is on the display? Now we all like, all right, what about the gameplay? Yeah, we waiting. We waiting for May 23rd. Because, okay, you got us a little interested with franchise. What is up with the gameplay? Let's see what did y'all actually address in that area. That's the main focus. But also what Rex was talking about Frostbite. And it's amazing to me too, Smitty, how so many people ran with the Frostbite thing and they felt like, see, that's why the game sucks. See? No. The problems that we all have with Madden been there since before Frostbite, guys. Frostbite didn't hit until Madden 18. FIFA's running on Frostbite. They ain't had no problems when they ain't really have no real issue. I mean, again, I'm not a soccer guy. Let me take that back. I don't know what problems existed in FIFA before or after Frostbite, but I'm just saying most of us here would think that it's in a better position than Madden. I think it's easy for us to say that. They didn't take the same hit that Madden took. So what Rex was basically saying, which y'all don't know, and I actually said this, I believe, a year or so ago right here on this show. They were forced to put in Frostbite by the executives. I remember one time I was at EA Play, and I won't say who I was talking to, but I was talking to one of my favorite devs. And he said, that's why we're doing Frostbite right there. I said, what? He said, turn around and look. There was this illustration of Battlefield and how beautiful it looked on the screen. I mean, woof, look at them graphics. Oh, Lord. I'm telling Smitty, like, man, this game looked good. And the dev told me, and that's why they forcing us to do Frostbite, because they want everything to look like that. He ain't say nothing about no gameplay. He said that's why we're making the Frostbite switch so fast. The top dog said it has to happen right now. Guess what else they did with that? Long shot, same scenario. Ooh, you see what the journey did? Oh no, we got to get that something like that in Madden right now. And they threw long shot in. Long shot wasn't supposed to be in the year it came in, but they did it. So I'm just basically letting you guys know, man, is you have to read the tea leaves a little bit when you hear these interviews. And it's not that Rex is saying that they are incapable. See, a lot of people internalize that as, oh, see, they can't do it. That ain't what he's saying at all. The man was on the team. He was the head of the team. He's telling y'all basically it's the culture. They didn't want me to address fixes. They felt like this was more advantageous. Let's do this instead of do that. And he basically said what I'm saying to you guys now. Unless that changes as far as how they approach things, it's going to be the same situation with a lot of the stuff that we don't like about Madden. But it seems like Madden 20 is all of a sudden focusing a little more on the stuff that we do want them to focus on. We shall see. Gameplay still needs to be revealed. So I ain't really got nothing else to say until that. But we said they've been neglecting franchise for the last several years. I don't think we can say that now. You know, regardless of what they actually do, and once we find out all the details, I still don't think none of us can say that, oh, they didn't do any focusing on franchise. That you can't say that. The most you can say is they didn't address what I wanted them to address, which is fair. And I'm not telling nobody not to feel that way. I'm just saying we got to call it for what it is. Well, I don't think we can really say that there's no focus there anymore. So now, how much did y'all focus on that gameplay? That's the question. TBD. We shall see. That's what I need to see. So, hey man, the hype train is running, ain't it, Smitty? That's what they call it, the hype train. I mean, look.
Apparently so.
Get off of it, guys. That's all. That's my only. Hey, that's my advice. Get off the train, then. Don't ride it. Step off the train. There's another one coming.
You know what though? The funny thing is that there was only one little trailer introducing who the cover guy was. Those articles from, excuse me, y'all, I'm eating too. Those articles from Game Informer. What hype was there in there? He's literally talking to Mike Young. All he's doing is asking questions, and Mike Young's answering them accordingly. There was nothing. There was no hype in that. Oh snap! They're doing a scenario engine. Oh, okay. He's talking about it. Oh, he's talking about his recommitment as far as gameplay. Oh wow, this is interesting. Like, that's it. But yet people try to take it as if there's some kind of hype push behind it. No one's hyping anything. If the game is hitting, the game will be hitting. Now, when the game comes out and we all talk about it and everything, because I would assume that's when that's going to happen, then yeah, of course we'll sit up here and be, we'll be happy for what we like. We'll be unhappy for what we don't like. And, excuse me, and continue it on from there. But if you think there's some kind of hype train going on, I don't get it. Especially at this point. Unless you're just a glutton for punishment, go ahead and do that.
Man. Yeah.
Maybe the game will pan out, maybe it won't. But then, hey, that's you. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, man. That's literally what this is at this point. So
just be consistent, man. Because last year y'all was mad because the hype train didn't start early enough. So which one is it? Either you on the train or you're not. I just don't. Like I said, it's comical to me now, man. Again, since we've been doing this thing, I think we've just grown. We're just different. I just see things differently. I see things for what they are. I don't have any high expectations. You know, part of that is because we know the process, but the other part is y'all ain't showed me. Y'all, and I've told them that while I was at EA. By the way, I've told these guys. I mean, not even the devs, straight up executives I've talked to and said, "Look, man, I'm not impressed." And shout outs to my man Sean Mason. If he hears this video, he was there when we looked them in their eyes and said, "Why did you do long shot? This was the first year. That's not what we want. Franchise people don't want that now." And we gave our disdain for it, and we didn't hold no punches, and we straight up said this is a mistake. Now who ended up being right? Them or us? Or Rex? Because Rex said basically, hint, he basically felt the same way. Like, nah, don't do that. That ain't the move. That ain't gonna. And isn't it funny that, again, I like Mike Young. I really do. He's a Pittsburgh fan and all that. I've known Mike Young for a long time, so this is not a slight at him. But he said tonight that we think this is the way that we'll bring in casual fans, is by allowing them to play as a player, versus in long shot you really couldn't be yourself. Duh. That's what we tried to tell y'all. I wish I could show, man, if there's video of it, I wish I could get it. I stood up in the middle of that room. There was about 100 people in there. And I said, wait, here's the problem. I can't be myself and create myself and go through this story. I got to just play this lame telltale. I said, oh, that ain't going to work. Those are my exact words. Oh, that ain't going to work. I'm telling you that's not going to work. And I said, listen, I'm not a marketing specialist or nothing like that, but I am telling you, that is not going to work. I said this. Look at your competition. Why is 2K so big time now? Yes, the gameplay is great, but my career is what took them to the next level. Road to the show. Most the MLB YouTubers, what do? They play Road to the Show. Your TD Barretts and all of that. So I said, why wouldn't you follow that format? Casual folks, you know what casual people do? They go with the new hotness. You don't have to trick them and try to introduce this new telltale narrative. That ain't gonna work. And who was right and who was wrong? That's all I'm gonna say. But, hey man, that's it. I guess we can wrap this thing up. Hold on, NBA Live Girl. I want to give a shout out to her. Haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? She says, hey Sim and Smitty, I just hope they also tended to Live's gameplay and franchise. Hey, round of applause to NBA Live Girl. Man, you ain't never lied. You ain't never lied, because NBA Live right now, if it's live, it's on life support. I'm just going to say that. So, but all right, good people, man. I think we can get up out of here. NYKia says, MLB, when it first came out, used to advertise Road to the Show almost exclusively back on the PS2 days. Then they turned out, oh, wow, this game is really good. And the way it went. Yeah, see? That's what I'm saying. Oh, man. I don't know. And one last thing Kia said here a bit earlier. He says, people feel the need to do the first ones to do a Madden 20 video. Not sure why. There really isn't a lot to talk too much about. And that's it. We've been down this road before, man. It ain't really a whole lot we can delve into. My only advice I would get everybody is right now, Madden, in the terms of on your list, needs to be in the list of prove it to me. And that's it. Don't get overworked. Don't get overhyped. Whether if you did like the information, don't be overly disappointed because we don't know all the information. And don't be overly critical until we know exactly what the game has to offer. It's just not healthy to have the mind state, oh, it's going to be like, why? Then if you really feel like that, then why are we even having a discussion? If it's trash, we're going to tell you it's trash. You can guarantee that. But I'm not going to say that now. Maybe there's been a change in the culture. I don't know. We'll see. But all right, man. Yeah. We are out of here. Smitty, you got any last words?
No, Other than, thank you everybody that came through and hung out, man, and everybody that donated. Yo, vastly appreciate
Yes,
that.
yes.
And yeah, we'll see what happens in a few. Well, next week. Next week, tune in. We're gonna do more of the same thing here. Talk about these superstar abilities. See what it does for the game. And yeah, man. I mean,
Many questions
just
around
see the
that
build
stuff.
up. Yeah.
Woo.
So
Balance, balance, balance. That's the word. Balance, balance, balance. Because I will admit, like Kia and some other people have said tonight, yo, I'm a little scared of how they're going to balance this stuff. Yeah, so we shall see. All right, man. We holler at y'all later. We are out of here. Y'all have a good one. Y'all be safe. God bless. And we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.
all right. Peace.